What do we have at the foundation of the reading? Tower. Mars, Aries, Scorpio energy at the foundation of the reading. Right now, there's a lot of people inside the collective that are being hit with the different layers of that which they are trying to release. What does this mean? Well, I've been getting a flood of messages the past few days surrounding different patterns, people, behavioral patterns, mindsets, for some addictions, big and small, that you are all working on releasing. But you are starting to see that it goes beyond the physical element of these things, that there's something spiritual there. There's some sort of residue there that you can't see, that you are noticing come up to the surface the longer you go down this path of having released said thing. It's like you having eradicated something from your life. You make it 30 days without this thing, without this person, without this mindset, without this behavioral pattern, and then boom, it just repeats on you, more intense than ever before, and it tries to pull you back in to that cycle that you have since moved on from. Some of you make it 60 days, some of you make it 90 days, whatever it means for you. There's these astrological checkpoints that expose the depth of this stronghold. And it's interesting, when I was meditating on this, I started to think about the 30-day moon cycles. Then I started to think about Saturn. I started to think about Pluto. One full lunar return tests your emotional body. So old cravings may resurface because the moon governs your memory and habit. It's testing you to see if you've really let go. And then Saturn, which is all about discipline and pressure, will start to test you right around 2 months. So the Saturn energy will come up as you feeling restricted, or you feeling fatigued, you feeling really tempted. But this is a kind of karmic testing. Saturn is now checking to see if you've built a structure strong enough to withstand the pressure and the temptation. So let's say you make it past the 60-day mark. Then you're going to start feeling this Plutonian kind of energy, which is going to start stirring up principalities. And this is when you really start to see the deeper nature of what's going on here. It's like everything that was hidden in your psyche is beginning to claw its way to the surface. It's beginning to unearth itself. So Pluto doesn't just test you, it forces you to transform. This is why people will go back or relapse or whatever it's connected to after doing so good. It's not because they're weak, it's because they've entered this sort of spiritual terrain where the archetypes of the moon, Saturn, and Pluto are beginning to converge to strip away the illusion and test your endurance. Now, having said all that, the tower right here at the root chakra, at the foundation of the reading, is showing you exactly what needs to go, what needs to be broken down. It's revealing everything to you. This is the revelation. And we've just detailed the different level of strength tests that the universe is going to put you through to see if you are truly ready to eradicate these principalities from your energy, from your auric field. See, any of these sorts of things are always going to be rooted in principalities, 100% of the time. That's why you feel this intense force come back. Your dreams get really wild. You start to feel spiritually attacked. You feel like you're under spiritual warfare, which you are, but it's not so much that something is targeting you, trying to destroy you. It's just trying to stop you from moving on from the space that it has always been able to keep you in. It has you tethered to that space. It has you shackled to that space. And now here you are transforming and evolving, and you are trying to expand beyond that space, and it's tightening its grip around you. This is what true transformation feels like. It's heavy. It's intense. It's spiritually painful, right? What does that mean, spiritually painful? Well, you know, as I'm sure a lot of you have already experienced in your life, when these sorts of events take place in your life, you often can't explain what's happening. It's like feeling as though you have some sort of physical ailment and you go to the doctor and the doctor says, well, there's nothing wrong with you. You're in perfect health. But you feel something's off because it's spiritual. This is what I'm picking up here. And the reason why I feel this message is coming through right now is because there's so many of you out there inside the collective that are going through all of this and need a message of support to let you know that this is all a part of the process and to hold the line. And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Swords, Gemini energy. So this is a perfect depiction of what I was just detailing. Here's this person up at night, can't sleep, nightmares. Maybe they're waking up in cold sweats, or maybe their bed is hot. Maybe they feel itchy, like there's some sort of spiritual warfare, like something is attacking them, but they can't see it. They can't really put their finger on it. All the while, there's this demon, right? This principality that's in another dimension that is feeding off of their energy, trying to make sure that they stay in this place of restriction with the toxic person in their life. The addiction, the mindset, the behavioral pattern, the energy of lack, whatever it is. These energies feed off of fear. And when you are stuck in any of those one places, and it could really be anything, there's fear associated with those things, okay? Because it suggests that we are speaking about people who haven't fully stepped into their power yet, or maybe they just need to hit the next level in the game. And we all go through this. None of us are perfect. We're all a work in progress. We're all transforming. You may think you've completely transformed your life, and then a couple years later, you have another level up, not even realizing that there was other principalities that were trying to keep you limited inside that space that you just transformed onto. Evolution has no end. It is perpetual. So no matter where you're at on the journey, whether you're just now going through your first spiritual awakening or transformation, or you're more advanced and you've been through this before, this message here is for everybody. What do we have at the sacral, please? Wow, High Priestess. Pisces energy in reverse at the sacral. Now, the High Priestess is directly connected to the moon and Pisces, okay? And I'm hearing that each moon phase, depending on which sign it's in, can actually amplify a specific kind of shadow energy in your life. Okay, so there's a bit of a depth that we're going to enter into here. But say that you have been doing really well with something, like we've already mentioned, and then all of a sudden you feel it repeat on you. Where is the moon when that happens, right? What sign is the moon in? Because if you can figure out, let's say, when all of a sudden you feel this energy repeat and it's under a specific moon sign, you can actually connect that moon sign to one of the 7 deadly sins, and boom, it might be directly connected to what it is you're trying to release. So let's say, for example, you're trying to release the spirit of lust from your life, okay? Which is something that everybody deals with. It doesn't have to do with just physical intimacy. It goes much deeper than that. It's something that we're all bombarded with every single day inside this world. It's the most difficult of these 7 deadly sins to fully eradicate from your life. But let's just say you're doing really good. You've managed to get this thing out of your energy, and then one day you wake up and you just feel not yourself. You feel this energy trying to come back, and you can't figure it out. And so you look at the astrology, and maybe the moon is in Taurus, and maybe there's some other astrological transits that are in retrograde. Now, Taurus's ruler is Venus. Shadow Venus energy is the energy of lust. Now, if you can start taking note of the transits when you're going through this clearing process, you can actually prepare yourself for it. So let's say you know that there's going to be a Taurus moon in a couple of days. You may want to say some prayers or implement what other spiritual practices that you do to be able to protect yourself. Typically speaking, prayer is the best thing that you can ever utilize. Psalm 91, or just asking Spirit, asking God, asking Source for protection, and calling out what it is that you are trying to eradicate from your energy can go a long way. In fact, it's pretty much all you need to do. But it is very important that when you are trying to rid yourself of these kinds of energies, you're familiar with the patterns. And when you start to figure this out, and when you start to see those patterns, it's absolutely mind-blowing, because you can predict the literal day that that energy tries to repeat on you. And see, as you go further down this path and you keep breaking past those checkpoints, eventually that spirit, that principality surfaces. It practically comes out into the open because it's not able to feed off you anymore, and it's trying to see what's going on. It doesn't have its hooks in you. And when this happens, oh boy, you will never question that there is actually a whole spiritual realm outside of our perception. I have tested this in my own personal life, and still when I think about it, it blows my mind. What's also quite profound here is that I was giving the example regarding Taurus. Taurus being connected to Venus, Venus being connected to lust, okay? And we have the high priestess in reverse at the sacral. Now, overactive sacral energy is lust. It's very hedonistic. Now, I'm just using Taurus and Venus and lust as an example, so apply it to what you may be dealing with here, okay? But the whole purpose of this reading is to get all of you to recognize the patterns in your life and to prepare yourself when they repeat on you. And I feel right now, for all of you, Spirit is making the pattern impossible to ignore. You know, this is actually what led to my own personal awakening. I just kept seeing these patterns in my life that were running in very particular cycles. The exact years, the increments, everything was exactly the same. And I began to write it all down, detail it. I had no idea what it is that I was writing down, though. I just knew that I had to write it down. I was doing a lot of automatic writing, and I started to see the patterns in what I was writing. So I started to put it on charts. And something within all of that is what triggered something to wake up inside of me. It was that light bulb moment, but it was much deeper than that. It was spiritual. And this is what I'm getting here for all of you. This is life-changing stuff. This is how you can truly reclaim a life that a lot of you haven't even had the opportunity to experience yet in this life cycle. But reclaiming something suggests that you had it once before. Now we're going into another territory that is speaking about past lives. You know, I believe that we're all here to fulfill specific missions that stretch across many life cycles. It's like picking up what you left off doing in a previous incarnation of yourself. Maybe something happened. Maybe you were distracted. Maybe you were knocked off your path. And now in this life cycle, you have the opportunity to reclaim your position. What do we have at the solar plexus? Five of Pentacles, Taurus energy at the solar plexus. And there it is. The Five of Pentacles is representing what Spirit and the divine is trying to assist you in eradicating from your energy right now. This is the fear. This is the loss. This is the lack. This is where these principalities, and look, I have the devil right there as well. Unbelievable. This is where these principalities want to keep you, right? They don't want you uncovering the truth. And this is how it's done. Exactly the way we're detailing here. It's a process. This is you decoding your own life, finding the truth, finding the exit strategy within the patterns. Again, once you can pinpoint that window, you can prepare for it, protect your space, and decide ahead of time how you're going to respond to the energy when it comes back in. So this is going to turn some sort of recurring hit, right, into a predictable non-event. It will just be something that becomes second nature. And once you've done this enough times, and that energy, that principality, has gone for, let's say, several moon cycles without being able to reattach itself to your energy, it will leave. And I believe, based on the downloads and my own experience, it happens right around 90 days. That's when the real change begins to unfold in your life. You know, a lot of the times at right around 30 days or so, you get to a point where you're like, you know what, I don't think I had a problem with that thing anyway. Or maybe that person isn't so bad after all, right? Because you feel like you've regained a sense of control over something. But that right there is a test. The principality is trying to pump you up like you've got something under control. And then all it takes is 1 second and you're right back at square one. You need to starve it. See, when you starve it, the spirit that once fed on you rises from these depths. It's restless and it's trying to reclaim its host, you. It doesn't understand why, after a lifetime of being able to feed off you, the source has gone dry. And this is when you begin to feel this tug, the relapse, the temptation. See, it's more psychological, which is spiritual warfare. The principalities are embedded in the patterns. When you break the pattern, they manifest more visibly. What was once withdrawal becomes confrontation with it. And this is when you really begin to see the true demons behind the curtain. This can be people coming back. This can be behavioral patterns within yourself that are almost fighting against you, twisting your perception, trying to tell you that just one more time is going to be okay. It's not going to hurt. It's not going to harm you. Seeing this person, speaking to them, whatever it is. But I'm telling you, if any of this sounds familiar, which something tells me probably sounds too familiar, then you have been face to face with this energy and you haven't even been fully aware of what it is you're dealing with. It's something that is not a part of you. It's just integrated itself into you. It's a routine. It's a mindset. It's a behavior. And this spirit is to blame for everything in your life that has seemingly not gone your way. It all has to do with this energy. We all have our own collection of principalities that have been assigned to us inside this life cycle. Some are more obvious than others, but it's just a part of living inside the third density. They're energetic parasites. And as soon as you begin to understand this, and as soon as you begin to eradicate these energies from your life, little by little, your life will begin to improve dramatically. It's not bad luck. It's not the hand you were dealt. It's the spirit that was assigned to you. That spirit brings in the bad luck. That spirit wants you to think that this is just it, that this is all you're getting out of this life. Now, for most, this energy manifests within our environments, the people, the family members. This can make it all the more confusing and difficult to release. And though each and every one of you is dealing with a different set of circumstances, my job is just to tell you to look for the patterns. What you decide to do with that information, once you see the patterns, is completely on you. And this devil right on the bottom of the deck, right after the Five of Pentacles. So this energy here, you're like, oh, I just have bad luck, you know? It's just the hand I was dealt. Not realizing that this energy is behind it. What do we have with the heart, please? Wow. I just switched decks and we get the High Priestess again at the heart position, but now it's in the upright. That's very profound. Now, this is putting a lot of confirmation behind the message because the moon in reverse is an energy of deception. It's an energy of releasing fear. It's like there's something that is hiding there, right? The devil behind the curtain, like we just mentioned. So you start to look at it through this lens of understanding. And now we get the High Priestess upright, which is highlighting the higher power, spirit working in your life. And it is the card of intuition. And this High Priestess upright is the preparation. Spirit is showing you the effect of addition and subtraction in your life. When you remove something, whether it's a habit, a person, or a mindset, you feel lighter. But if you try to bring it back, the impact is going to be harsher than before. So it's very important right now that you pay attention to what weakens you and what strengthens you. And that sounds very basic, as all of this seems. There's patterns within all of it. Once you decode it and you see the pattern, you have the aha moment. You go, oh, wow. It was right there the entire time. I just didn't think to look. Whatever that means for you, okay? There's going to be a lot of messages that I channel through here that are going to be left for you to interpret as you see fit in your own life. But this High Priestess here is representing you fully stepping into your power and being prepared. It's like, here you are. You're like, all right, demon. What do you got? I'm ready for you. See, this is their worst fear. The principalities, the spirits, the energies, the patterns, is you seeing all of this. You know, life is constructed in a very particular way to where we don't take much time out to think about the greater design behind our own life. Why is life so distracting? Why are we bombarded with so much nonsense every single day? Because there's something that the powers that be do not want you to uncover in your own life. They get more from you when you're a slave to your own matrix than when you wake up to it. Now, there's a profound level of insight that I could keep digging through within that last sentence alone, but I'm just going to leave all of that with you. The High Priestess here is also speaking about you being in between worlds. the spirit realm, and your waking life. You're navigating between the two. You're doing it effortlessly. See, when you are able to understand what it is I'm presenting to all of you here, just enough, okay? It doesn't take full mastery. It just takes really being open. You become a threat because once you see it, there is no going back. And as time goes on, you begin to master this space because for each one of us, it's been custom designed to keep us from noticing it. This is when you go from being an NPC to being the chosen one in your own reality. We all have access to these two dynamics. We are all the center of our own reality and universe. And when you can begin to conquer the matrix that has been built around your life, you can begin to design the reality that up until that very moment has only existed in your dreams. What do we have at the throat, please? 5 of Wands, Leo energy at the throat. For a lot of you, as I mentioned, this manifests in your environments. The 5 of Wands can be the obstacles and challenges, the people that you have had to face, that were all extensions of this energy. See, it all starts somewhere. That toxic family member, that toxic ex, that unloyal friend, these people who seemingly set you back on your path, the people who tried to drain you of your light, take advantage of you. These are all extensions of the greater principalities that have been working behind the scenes. They are the NPCs. They are the vessels that these energies use. And the more you begin to wake up to this and you start to see this truth, the more mind-blowing it becomes. You look back on your path and a lot of the people that you have encountered and you start to connect them to this energy. You start to see that although these people were all different, they brought a very similar, if not the exact same energy and problems into your life. You start to see that there was one spirit controlling all of these people. I often refer to this as same spirit, different meat suit. When this begins to happen in your life, it's difficult to process, but it begins to make much more sense as time goes on. During this period of time, the structure by which you have built your entire reality is slowly crumbling because there's no way the old perception is going to hold up within this new universe that you're building. And with that comes your transformation. You're no longer the person you once were. There's the version of you that had no idea about any of this, and then there's the version that you have become, fully aware. There's an emotion connected to that as well, because you start to look at that old version of yourself as you feel sorry for that person. You wish you could just go back and give yourself a hug and help yourself in those difficult times. But this is when the inner child healing can be useful, because this is when you connect with previous versions of yourself as a means to essentially be there for yourself now. But whatever the case, all of these things are connected. There's a very intricate web that has been placed around your life, your reality, and it's all for the purpose of keeping you from something. Whatever is at the driver's seat of this opposing force, let's just say, whether it's the devil, whether it's the principalities, whether it's just the greater dynamics of the universe and just how things work, whatever it is, you start to understand that you're being kept from something. And when this much detail and effort has gone into keeping you from said thing, well, that in and of itself can bring quite the awakening, can bring a kind of truth that you may not even be fully ready to accept, that just maybe that feeling that you've always had was true. You were meant for something greater. Otherwise, why such an intricate campaign to keep you in this energy? 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands. This right here is detailing somebody awakening to the truth in their life. And it's all triggered by this explosive tower at the foundation of the reading. This is the point of awakening. And this is what they fear. They can't have this. This is when your whole reality, your whole world feels like it's coming for you. Because it is. And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Hangman. Okay, Pisces energy here again. Now, the Hangman speaks about seeing things from a different perspective. Okay, this is you basically, what's like you're looking at something from a different angle. You're thinking about the deeper meaning behind your life. This is that aha moment. Like, oh my God, I see the pattern now. I was thinking about what I said about detailing the patterns, taking all the notes, right? It's like doing something like that, putting it all over your wall, and then hanging upside down, looking at it, and you just see something. I know that sounds funny, but it's just supposed to be further emphasizing the need to decode your life and look at things from a different angle, whether literal or metaphorical. What do we have at the third eye, please? Five of Pentacles again. Okay. I'm being guided to take both of these. It's in reverse, though. Look at that. Wow. High Priestess reverse. Five of Pentacles. High Priestess upright. Five of Pentacles in reverse. Page of Swords. Boom. So now you have turned. See, this whole energy here is representing a revelation. You see the truth and you turn it all around. You know, we were just speaking about, where is it? There it is. The Hangman, right? Seeing something from a different perspective. It's like you're turning things around. Reverse, upright, upright, reverse. See, the Five of Pentacles now coming out in reverse at the third eye is telling us that you have pinpointed this and you're eradicating this energy from your field. That energy of lack. That energy of, I guess it's just the hand I was dealt. It's an energy of thinking that your success is limited, and that's going to be different for every single one of you, so place it as it fits. And then we get the Page of Swords at the crown. Air energy. You realize that you can have it all, which sends you out on a quest to make it happen. Those ideas, that voice from within, was never just a dream. That's your literal mission statement. And when you figure this out and you start to put action behind all of this, here they come, right? Oh, hey there. That is these energies right here. They never expected you to get this far. You had to go through all of this to truly begin again. And I say begin again because, like we mentioned already, there's something connecting us to a past life energy. It's like you pick up that sword and you're like, God, this feels familiar. That sword is representing an idea, a truth, the clarity. You just feel like you've arrived at something and you can't even truly put it into words. It's a return to you. What do we have at the foundation, please? Wow. There it is. Okay. Unbelievable. So when we get to this part of the reading, this is going to show us what's underneath the surface. So let's just say this is representing the principalities, the spirits, okay? Now, the judgment from this deck is an energy that does not want to be seen. It wants to stop judgment at all costs from unfolding. And it's right underneath that tower. The revelation, the awakening, it's all beginning to happen. And this energy, and to be honest, it probably looks a whole lot like that. On the astral plane, right? It's just some, wiry looking parasitic creature that is just leeching off of your energy without you being fully aware of the greater consequences of what this energy is truly keeping you from. I just heard somebody say to themselves, where does it come from? Well, as I mentioned, these things are typically assigned to us inside the third density. The third density, though, may seem like our home or our world, we're just passing through. This isn't our home. It's just where we've been sent to complete a mission of breaking generational karma, generational curses within your family lineage, being an example to other individuals who may be struggling with the same. Now, though that may sound vague, it's impossible to put it any other way because it's simply going to be different for every single one of you. All of you are here on a different mission doing different things. But you cannot get a more explosive energy than the Tower stacked with Judgment, red in its negative polarity, at the foundation of the reading. This is like an earthquake on the astral plane that is caused by you in the third density, by understanding enough of what is being detailed in this reading to begin making the changes and seeing the patterns in your own life. What do we have? The Sacral, please, Spirit? Two of Wands, Aries energy at the Sacral. Now, this Two of Wands underneath the High Priestess in reverse is an energy that was trying to disempower you, so you just keep giving up on yourself, right? That's that energy of, oh, well, I guess this was just the hand I was dealt. Now, the Two of Wands from this deck is speaking about your plans falling apart or something unexpected happening in your life. Maybe in the 11th hour when you were trying to pull through a manifestation. It all has to do with this principality that's underneath the surface. Now, I just want to make it very clear to all of you that everything I'm speaking about here, I have gone through. When you start to pinpoint these energies and you start to pluck them out one by one, everything changes. You'll wake up one day, maybe a few years down the track, and look back on your life and you're like, oh my God, what happened? Was that all a bad dream? That's what all of this leads you to. That is called timeline jumping. Timeline jumping is just the process of shifting your own reality by way of how you show up and interface with it. It all comes down to your willingness to put forward the effort to bring through changes in your life without waiting for somebody else to do it for you or support from somebody else. You have to take complete control. And I feel the need to say that it's very important that you do not give over your power to anybody else in thinking that they know what is best for you or they can advise you when it comes to these kinds of spiritual matters. Do not give your power away. And more importantly, be very wary of the people that allow you to do this. This is how you really weed out who has your best interest in mind and who doesn't. Because somebody who is truly supportive of you and has your back will encourage you to take matters into your own hands. Somebody needed to hear that. I feel that there's a number of you out there that are dealing with situations where you just assume by default the people in your environment, it's probably family, know what's best for you without even realize that you're restricting yourself within the framework of what they think is best for you. It's not based on what you want for yourself. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Too many cards. What do we have? The solar plexus. Too many cards. Wow. Temperance. Just confirm what I said. The Temperance card from this deck speaks about outside interference. It's an energy around you that's affecting your long-term vision, quite possibly without you even realizing it. Handing over your power to someone else. This speaks about someone or something trying to keep you in this energy here. It gets more from you when you're in that energy than when you're in this energy. I just heard very clearly there's a lot of people that are gossiping. Page of Swords energy, which is all about gossip, slander, just chatter. People are gossiping about, I heard gossiping about your rise. Now, this can just speak about something you're doing that is threatening. Maybe you're showing promise. People are just starting to realize that you are shaking the cage, metaphorically speaking. You will not be confined anymore. You're becoming curious as to what is beyond the wall, so to speak. Pay attention to the level of disruption and chaos that may unfold in your life when you begin to entertain this level of transformation. Because as we mentioned at the beginning of the reading, the energies will repeat on you. What do we have at the heart, please? Ten of Swords, Gemini energy at the heart position. The Ten of Swords represents an ending and a beginning, but it can also represent betrayal. This is that energy of you starting to see the truth, that you are a certain kind of sacrifice before you awaken to the person that you are preparing to become, which is what leads to the realization that you have been betrayed. They played the part of being there for you, acting like they had your best interest in mind, but now you realize that it was circumstantial. They had your best interest in mind as long as you remained inside an idea of what they had for you in your life, because they were, again, being controlled by a principality. They were merely but a vessel. See how intricate this becomes? And then we have the Three of Swords, Libra energy, which is you now healing, recovering, releasing any sort of sorrow that may be attached to this, which becomes easier and easier because what you start to understand is a lot of what you have come from wasn't even real. It was an act. They were all playing a part. So a lot of what may have seemed like love was just a script. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? Perfect. Hierophant. God, the divine source, your spirit guides, all showing up now. The merciful God, divine forgiveness, obtains friendship and favors of the great, secures promises. So whatever that vision is, that success, that feeling that you have about your life and what you think it should look like, this is Source telling you right here. It's all on its way. But this is the process you must go through. And this Hierophant here is also emphasizing what we were speaking about in regards to preparing yourself when you see the pattern, right? Yeah, I saw Psalm 91 flash in my mind's eye, okay? The warfare prayer. It's all you need, really. It's the only thing that is truly effective. When you start to see the patterns, pray. When you know the pattern is preparing to repeat, begin your prayer routines and do it a few days before the pattern hits and a few days afterwards. And repeat this in whatever cycle you have pinpointed them to be present in. As long as you do this, you will free yourself from that space. Consistency and patience is all it takes. And when you think about achieving the greater successes in life, this all seems like, that makes sense. I would have to go through all this to get there. I get it now. Because the greater successes in your life aren't going to be accomplished by some menial task. It's going to be accomplished within the framework of spiritual transformation. And it looks a whole lot like what I have on this table right now. This is how you get there. So if you want it bad enough, this is your blueprint. Just adjust it where necessary to fit what you may be going through. What do we have at the third eye, please? Two of Pentacles, Capricorn energy at the third eye. Following this energy, further emphasizing the need for prayer, right? This individual is giving up offerings to source the divine, maybe spirit guides. Take that as it fits. Fortune and fame fulfills any requests. This is how it's done. It's not rocket science, but it does take fasting your energy from these principalities, eradicating these parasites from your life, whatever that means for you, and then getting on your hands and knees and praying for protection while you endure the storm after you disrupt the hive. What do we have at the crown, please, to close out the reading, Spirit? Boom. Death. Mumia. God, the end of the universe. Endings and rebirth. Influences health and longevity. Now, the Death card is the number one card of transformation in the entire tarot. This is the phoenix rising up out of the ashes. Death to that which was standing in its way. You are moving on. Scorpio energy. We got the Tower right at the very beginning with the Judgment right underneath it. And we end on the Death card. All of these cards represent Scorpio. Scorpio, Mars, Aries, Pluto, Scorpio, and Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of transformation. So everything I have said here has just been confirmed to be 100% right on target. This is the blueprint that I feel if all of you take on board and work through the intricacies to make sense in your life, this will be the key to unlocking whatever it is that is on the other side of all of this for you. This is your way through. All right, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. If you would like to support my channel, there are a few ways that you can go about doing this. I have my channel memberships open. It's $2.99 a month, where you can access bonus videos from me, and there's already a number of videos there that should keep you busy for a while. I also have an online store that is made up of a whole bunch of things that I have designed myself. The links to my store can be found down below. Donations are always appreciated, and I would like to extend my gratitude for everybody who continues to donate and support my cause here. Also, information for personal readings can be found down below. But lastly, if this reading resonated with you and your path at this time, drop me a heart and or a comment down below, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.